Hello everyone and welcome to the first day of FIDE World Rapid and Blitz Chess Championship. I'm here present in Doha and let's take a look at some interesting moments of the day. So first, Shawn Rodrigue was playing against Gukesh Dommaraju in the first round of the day. Opposite colored bishops and white made a huge mistake which allowed black to save the game. So Shawn played g6. So here the moment was that g6 is a huge mistake and we'll analyze it in a sec. So the best move was h5. And now it turns out that, black are hopeless. They're losing the game and there's no way for black to save it. So instead, g6 was played, but it turned out to be a mistake because after c3, guess what happens? c2 is a threat. So you probably gotta take, and after king d3, bishop f5, this pawn is lost. Now, those two pawns cannot promote themselves. I mean, you can play king f6 and push h4, h5, h6, h7, h8, but this square is different from bishop f3, so it is a draw. Gukesh ended up winning 4 games in a row after this one, and is co-leading with the world champion Magnus Carlsen, who started the tournament with 4 out of 4. And let's take a look at his games in round number 3 and 4. So he was playing against Idurizaga Eduardo in round number 3. And you might see he get a lot of space advantage and, he didn't let his opponent escape. Knight to4 takes, knight goes to c5, rook g4, queen goes to b3, bishop e8, knight b7, queen b6, knight c5, bishop g6, takes. And now attack the rook. Rook e8, bishop goes back, rook e1 takes, rook f6, a4, f5, queen c3, queen f3, and soon he sacrificed back for a piece, king h2, king g3, rook c3, rook b3, and now some type of fortress. So Magnus pushed all the way to h5, and that was enough to win the game. Rook a4, king goes all the way to d7 and b7, queen d6, and check, king d7. Now queen goes all the way back, and zugzwang, because rook e3, king d4, rook e1, queen c3, if rook e6, winning pawn and game. King g8, king f6, king h7, king f7, and black can simply resign. In the next round, Anton David Guijaro, knight c3, now rook b8, and now it turns out the b file is fully opened, bishop on b2 is terrible, d4, takes, rook e8, and e3 square. So knight just has to get all the way to e3. Knight b6, takes, and now f5. So e file is opened, this knight cannot really move anywhere, so Magnus took, g3, g2, and after rook e8, white admitted they lost just because rook e1 is coming, knight e3 is coming, everything is coming. There were a couple of interesting results, and one of them was in the first round, 12-year-old kid was playing against a grandmaster, and they got to the following position. I mean, it's round equal, it's knight of defense, but of course there are a lot of things, a lot of play going on. So before g5, knight goes back, so h4, bishop a4, attacking the pawn on c2, and now rook c1. The idea is to play b3. So queen a5, knight d4, e5, knight 7. The idea, of course, to bring knight to b5 and then maybe knight c3, sacrificing it back. g6, but white are first. Rook g1, bishop h6. So the idea is that if g takes h6, queen f4, and queen f6, king d7, queen f8, and rook is coming. So bishop g6, h5, bishop h5, bishop g7, and the checkmate and attack is coming. Bishop f6, I mean, just simple sacrifice would work. Knight b5, bishop d3, takes, bishop g6, takes, king g4, and black resigned. This 12-year-old kid ended up winning another game against Jam. He lost only once in round number 3 against Adam Kazak. with white pieces, and then he made a draw against David Paravan and Denis Lazovic. And interesting moment happened in the following game where it's black to play, G6 would have had unequal consequences for black, but instead Queen D7 was played. It's move number 10, but what black missed is after bishop e6, they have to lose queen or just play a dead lost position. Because let's say queen e7, there's knight d6, king d8, knight f7, and I mean, you can click on resignation button. So queen e6 was played instead, and after knight e7, this queen is simply lost. So takes, d3, king goes back, and now precise conversion from white pieces, king g7, b4, g3, king e4, and now c5, opening up the whole queen side. Knight h3, now king h3, king d4, threatening to take the rook, and again there is no defense. If e5, you can play rook c5, and once again bring the second one to c1 and then take on e5 and win the game. And after the first round, the first day, the leaders are Magnus, Arjun, Maxim, Vladislav, Artem, and Gukesh with 4.5 points out of 5. And then there are a bunch of people at 4, and of course then at 3.5, and so on and so on. In the women's section, there were interesting moments as well. Some of them, could lose and win, absolutely losing and win positions. So it was fascinating to watch. Dreener 4 out of 4, and then there are a bunch of people at 3.5 and then 3 points as well. So yeah, 2 more days to go in Rapid, and then they'll have Blitz portion as well. So yeah, that's it for today. I'll see you tomorrow after the second day. Bye.